Hare Krishna, everyone. We're here to read Srimad Bhagavatam. Another one of those days in London where the old, what are they called? Those people who are protesting.
Oh, Extension Rebellion.
Not extension. No, we're not having an extension put on the house or anything and rebelling against it. Extinction Rebellion, yes.
I think it's all week. I saw that in the news, so I don't know if you can hear.
2 weeks, I heard.
Oh my days. So there's actually, you can see the helicopter right there.
I don't think they're going to see the helicopter.
No, that's for you, Kat.
I know, I've been hearing and seeing it all last 3 days.
Yeah, it's crazy around here.
So, we're going to...
And there was a little dog just now, and it had a pink hoodie on. It had the hood and everything.
Yeah, might come back, we'll show you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
It's Canto 3, Chapter 12, Text 25. Chapter is Creation of the Kumaras and Others.
I don't think it would be text 25. I think it would be 24.
Alright.
Because we would have finished with a purport, right?
You are, I stand corrected.
That's unusual, but yeah, there you go. Go ahead.
Alright. Pulatsya was generated from the ears, Angira from the mouth, Atri from the eyes, Marichi from the mind, and Pulaha from the navel of Brahma. Text 25. Religion was manifested from the breast of Brahma, wherein is seated the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan. And irreligion appeared from his back, where horrible death takes place for the living entity. Oh, purport. That religion was manifested from the place where the personality of Godhead is personally situated is very significant, because religion means devotional service to the personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita as well as the Bhagavatam. In Bhagavad Gita, the last instruction is to give up all other engagements in the name of religion and take shelter of the personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam also confirms that the highest perfection of religion is that which leads to the devotional service of the Lord, unmotivated and unhampered by material impediments. Religion in its perfect form is the devotional service of the Lord, and irreligion is just the opposite. The heart is the most important part of the body, whereas the back is the most neglected part. When one is attacked by an enemy, one is apt to endure attacks from the back and protect himself carefully from all attacks on the chest. All types of irreligion spring from the back of Brahma, whereas real religion, the devotional service of the Lord, is generated from the chest, the seat of Narayan. Anything which does not lead to the devotional service of the Lord is irreligion, and anything which leads to the devotional service of the Lord is called religion. So then it's quite all-encompassing. That's how I read it. That anything which leads to the Lord, which leads to the devotional service of the Lord, is religion. I took that as any path. Not,
as long as it leads to devotional service
to the Lord.
To the Lord.
Meaning, but that's how I read it. That there's no my way or the highway. It's like Prabhupada would sometimes say when you met the nuns or the priests and that, then chant your names of God. You know, like that. But just chant. That's the point. Call upon the name of God.
Okay. Text 26. Lust and desire became manifested from the heart of Brahma. Well, that's interesting, because he just said the heart, the chest, is the place of Lord Narayan, and lust and desire seem like they should come from the back. But let's see what it has to say. Anger from between his eyebrows, which we read about already, which was Rudra, Lord Shiva. Greed from between his lips, the power of speaking from his mouth, the ocean from his penis, and low and abominable activities from his anus, the source of all sins. Purport. The conditioned soul is under the influence of mental speculation. However great one may be in the estimation of mundane education and learning, he cannot be free from the influence of psychic activities. Therefore, it is very difficult to give up lust and the desires for low activities until one is in the line of devotional service to the Lord. When one is frustrated in lust and low desires, anger is generated from the mind and expressed from between the eyebrows, like that, right? You go, talking to me, like that. Ordinary men are therefore advised to concentrate the mind by focusing on the place between the eyebrows, whereas the devotees of the Lord are already practiced to place the Supreme Personality of Godhead on the seat of their minds. The theory of becoming desireless is untenable because the mind cannot be made desireless. When it is recommended that one be desireless, it is understood that one should not desire things which are destructive to spiritual values. One should not desire things which are destructive to spiritual values. Interesting. A devotee of the Lord always has the Lord in his mind, and thus he does not need to be desireless, because all his desires are in relationship with the service of the Lord. The power of speaking is called the Saraswati, or the goddess of learning, and the birthplace of the goddess of learning is the mouth of Brahma. Even if a man is endowed with the favor of the goddess of learning, it is quite possible for his heart to be full of lust and material desire, and his eyebrows to display symptoms of anger. One may be very learned in the mundane estimation, but that does not mean that he is free from all low activities of lust and anger. Good qualifications can be expected only from a pure devotee who is always engaged in the thought of the Lord or in samadhi with faith. That was quite a purport text. Didn't really get into describing why desire and lust come from the place of the heart. But I guess that's
Yeah, interesting. Seems a contradiction.
but all contradictions are resolved in Krishna.
Okay. Right, text 27.
Moving right along.
Sage Kardama, husband of the great Devahuti, was manifested from the shadow of Brahma. Thus all became manifested in either the body or the mind of Brahma. Purport. Although one of the three modes of material nature is always prominent, they are never represented unalloyed by one another. Even in the most prominent existence of the two lower qualities, the modes of passion and ignorance, there is sometimes a tinge of the mode of goodness. Therefore, all the sons generated from the body or the mind of Brahma were in the modes of passion and ignorance. But some of them, like Kardama, were born in the mode of goodness. Narada was born in the transcendental state of Brahma.
So, yeah, seems like, the three modes are always there, but never unalloyed. So alloy means a mixture of, like alloy metal means a mixture of metals. So unalloyed means unmixed. What?
This, anyway, I just thought it might go in there, the sound.
Okay. So unalloyed means unmixed. So it means that although one of the three modes of material nature is always prominent, they are never represented unalloyed. Means they're never represented unmixed. They're always some mixture of the modes. You're never going to get pure goodness. I mean, of course, the idea is that we aspire for pure goodness. That's Sudasattva. But you never get pure ignorance. There must be some little tinge of passion or something like that. So that's the point. So in this case, you see that you get lust and desire and things coming from, sinful activities, but then you get Kardama, the sage, who's born of the shadow, and he's in goodness. Or you get Narada Muni, who's in transcendence. So basically the point being that it's never unalloyed. There'll always be some alloy, some mixture, so you're always going to find some goodness mixed in somewhere, and that's Kardama in this situation. That's my understanding. Does that make sense? Text 28, it's my turn.
Yes.
O Vidura, we have heard that Brahma had a daughter named Vak, who was born from his body and who attracted his mind toward sex, although she was not sexually inclined towards him. Purport. Balavan Indriya Gramo Vidvamsam Api Karshati. Bhagavatam 9:19-17. It is said that the senses are so mad and strong that they can bewilder even the most sensible and learned man. Therefore, it is advised that one should not indulge in living alone, even with one's mother, sister, or daughter. Interesting. Vidvamsam apikarshati means that even the most learned also becomes victims. Even the most learned also become victims of the sensuous urge. Maitreya hesitated to state this anomaly on the part of Brahma, who was sexually inclined to his own daughter. But still he mentioned it because sometimes it so happens, and the living example is Brahma himself. Although he is the primeval living being and the most learned within the whole universe, if Brahma could be a victim of the sexual urge, then what of others who are prone to so many mundane frailties? This extraordinary immorality on the part of Brahma was heard to have occurred in some particular kalpa, but it could not have happened in the kalpa in which Brahma heard directly from the Lord the 4 essential verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, because the Lord blessed Brahma after giving him lessons on the Bhagavatam that he would never be bewildered in any kalpa whatsoever. Interesting. This indicates that before the hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, he might have fallen a victim to such sensuality. But after hearing Srimad Bhagavatam directly from the Lord, there was no possibility of such failures. Well, that's quite powerful statement, and kind of touches upon some discussion that was there. Was it on our group?
Teachings of Queen Kunti.
Yeah, about Lord Brahma and his position, and does he fall down? So it seems that even though he's presides over passion, but it's described in the teachings of Queen Kunti that he is an incarnation of the Lord, because Lord Brahma is a guna avatar. He's the guna avatar of the mode of passion, of Rajagun, and the Lord, it's explained there that he's a plenary kind of portion of expansion of the Lord. So how can he be influenced by the modes? Well, it seems that basically anybody can be influenced by the modes, because he's also a jiva, so he's marginal energy. But here Srila Prabhupada is making the point quite powerfully that this must have happened in a kalpa, because we're talking about creation, but remember, at the beginning of each day of Lord Brahma, he has to recreate. So there's the creation at the very beginning, and then there's recreation at the beginning of each day. So when it says a kalpa, it means at the beginning of another day of Lord Brahma when he recreates. I believe that's my understanding. And so basically the Lord would have 365 days times 100 years. So wherever is the point at which we heard about previously, where it was the pastime, right, where Lord Brahma specifically heard the 4 seed verses of the Bhagavatam. So whenever that kalpa was, then this must have happened before then, is basically what's being said. Did you catch all of that? Did any of that make any sense? Or am I just rambling?
Apparently both.
What?
Yeah, we get it. Let's read the next paragraph.
Okay.
One should, however, take serious note of this incident. The human being is a social animal, and his unrestricted mixing with the fair sex leads to downfall. Such social freedom of man and woman, especially among the younger section, is certainly a great stumbling block on the path of spiritual progress. Material bondage is due only to sexual bondage, and therefore unrestricted association of man and woman is surely a great impediment. Maitreya cited this example on the path of Brahma just to bring to our notice this great danger.
Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it seems like Krishna likes to use his near and dear ones, to use them as examples for everyone else. Brahma, Indra, Shiva. It's like, they get these high exalted positions, but with that it's like, I'll use you as I want just to show everyone else how you shouldn't behave.
Yeah, they can teach the most powerful lessons.
We don't really need to aspire to name, fame in this, because just be like a simple gopi or gopa, and then nothing happens to them.
Okay. Anyway, it just reminded me of the statement Srila Prabhupada makes that I think he's quoting Chanakya Pandit, where he says that man is like butter and woman is like fire. And if you put the butter too close to the fire, then it's certainly going to melt. So, yeah, that's why traditionally in Vedic culture there's always distance, and men and women, even husband and wife, keep distance.
But I don't think we need to worry too much, because nowadays we don't really have butter, more like margarine. As far as the caliber of men's concerned, it's margarine, not butter.
Yeah, and we used to have like actual fire, but now we just have like what are they called? Conduction heaters or conduction elements or something like that. No. Yeah, we have to have special pots to put on the thing, or it doesn't work.
Right.
That's kind of like the way it works now. It's all got to be special.
You just try to go anyway.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Okay.
Text 29, and we'll end on this one.
I hope so.
For now. It's you.
I just read, didn't I? Oh, you read the last paragraph. Okay, I stand corrected. Okay, text 29. Thus, finding their father so deluded in an act of immorality, the sages headed by Marichi, all sons of Brahma, spoke as follows with great respect. Purport. The sages, like Marichi, were not in the wrong in submitting their protests against the acts of their great father. They knew very well that even though their father committed a mistake, there must have been some great purpose behind the show. Otherwise, such a great personality could not have committed such a mistake. It might be that Brahma wanted to warn his subordinates about human frailties in their dealings with women. This is always very dangerous for persons who are on the path of self-realization. Therefore, great personalities like Brahma, even when in the wrong, should not be neglected, nor could the great sages headed by Marichi show any disrespect because of his extraordinary behavior. Thoughts?
Yes, it's conundrum.
How so?
Well, it's saying on the one hand that he's a great personality, so you've got to allow it. But at the same time, you can see like Marichi's mentioning it because he feels there's a need to bring up what his dad did, you know?
So it's a conundrum. In what way?
But at the same time, you have to allow it. You know, like they say, what is it? Spots on the moon, or like you're not supposed to point fingers like.
Well, oh God. Yeah, that's from the purport, I think 930 or 931, Abhichetsu Darachado, the Bhagavad Gita, where it's mentioned that that the moon, even though there's so many spots on the moon, there's no point in kind of like, you know, getting into a whole trip about the spots on the moon. The moon still emanates the moonlight. So, you know, there may be some spots, there may be some, you know, inadequacies. So, but still, Lord Brahma is a great person. He was empowered by Krishna to create the universe. How many people get that honor, that special position? So, he made a mistake. And it's interesting that Prabhupada brings up specifically that it was a mistake. And also, no, it's not said there, but Prabhupada said he made a mistake. But they had faith that he's such a great personality that the mistake must have been for a higher purpose. But still, Marichi is not wrong by trying to call his father on the mistake. So
it wasn't hidden and brushed under the carpet.
Good point, yeah.
Which is what makes victims or whatever upset, obviously, you know, if that makes sense. So in institutions or otherwise, and you know, I'm not saying if it's specific, but
sounds specific.
No, it's acknowledged that, look, I mean, it's in the pages of the Bhagavatam forevermore, you know. So it's not like Brahma's like, yeah man, you know, I came from the navel of Mahavishnu, you know. Yeah, I know, but it also said in the same book that you ran after your daughter, so okay, it's acknowledged.
Where are we going with this?
But at the same time, I think it is a powerful point, although it could also be controversial, that where Prabhupada is saying, oh, but he's such a great personality, clearly it was for another higher purpose that it happened. Yeah, I'm just saying in this day and age, we have to be careful. It could be like, if someone tries to emulate that, then that's dangerous, I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, I think it's that it kind of, in my understanding, it fits with the verse Abhichetsu Daracharo, because whatever a great person does, you know, not a great person does, but even if, he commits the most abominable activities, then he's still to be considered saintly. And that's very challenging, in a sense, for us to get it and understand, because, we think, well, how he's no longer saintly. But no, he was saintly. He just had a temporary fall down, a temporary situation. Okay. So, but it's not that it shouldn't be acknowledged, and I think that's the good point. It's not that it's swept under the carpet. It's acknowledged, but at the same time, one should give benefit of the doubt to rectify oneself. But if one can't rectify oneself, then Prabhupada says in that purport, then one should not be considered a very high devotee. He doesn't say that one shouldn't be a devotee. He just says that one should not be considered a very high devotee. So like that. Okay, anyway, we're going to end there because there's lots more to discuss on this topic. They'll get into a whole conversation about it. All right, thank you all very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna.